The FBI will keep working day and night to destroy this network. It is a top priority.
Waller County Sheriff's Office.
I heard some gunshots, and I think someone's dead.
Quickly learned the call was fake. A case of swatting, someone reportedly using a device that alters voices, calling in a false report.
We traced the call. It's coming from inside the house.
And they know who was where when, and so they've got a pretty good idea of who they think is responsible.
This video is for adults only. Discretion is advised. Everything I'm sharing is my opinion.
This is Reporter Room with Jessica Della Davies.
If you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. It's free and it helps me out a lot. This is really interesting. Close sources, according to TMZ and iHeartRadio, said that the Los Angeles grand jury is expected to hand down a murder indictment. Hallelujah, you guys, against David Anthony Burke. Now, I don't know if Neo's going to be included in that indictment or if he just didn't take the plea deal. I don't know. The legal escalation comes months after silence following finding Celeste in David's front trunk of the Tesla last September. Prosecutors, who are being led by the deputy district attorney and veteran prosecutor, really one of their best prosecutors, Beth Silverman, reportedly presented damning new evidence to the grand jury this week, you guys. This testimony that the singer David did not act alone. So maybe that's why Neo was in and out in 30 to 40 minutes. Let's keep going because I think this all kind of ties together. We're like seeing pieces of the puzzle. I'm putting it together with, the best way I can. If you guys have a different take on it, that's okay. We're not going to always agree on every single thing. According to leaked details with grand jury proceedings, the case against David has shifted from circumstantial to forensic. Witnesses, including Rob Morgenroth, a member of David's management team, was reportedly grilled about David's movements in August of 2025, while Rob insisted that his testimony and managing Burke's personal life wasn't his responsibility. Prosecutors allege that David had an accomplice disassembled Celeste before hiding her remains. And let me just show you my receipts on this. So this is really disturbing. Let me take this down. Okay, so this is a news source that I'm sharing with y'all. So this is AOL. So this includes testimony that the singer did not act alone, if you can call him a singer. I heard him without his voice tuner this week, and he does not have a good voice. Why do you think they chose to represent someone who doesn't really have that great of a voice and is so disturbed? Why would you choose to back that person? According to leaked details from the grand jury proceedings, the case against David has shifted from circumstantial to forensics. So let me look up what that means. Let me see what it says. Let me share this really quick. We'll come back to the article in a second, but I just want to go through what does this mean? So description and examples of circumstantial evidence. Without evidence, there's no criminal case and no conviction. There are many types of evidence that seek to prove different things in cases. One commonly used form of evidence is in criminal and other cases is circumstantial. Yeah, it's probably the most common. So a circumstantial case, circumstantial evidence is indirect evidence. It does not directly prove a defendant is guilty. Instead, it's evidence of another fact that can lead to the conclusion or inference that the defendant is guilty. And most cases are circumstantial. So how does this differ from direct evidence? Circumstantial evidence requires a jury to infer what happened, while direct evidence is someone telling you they witnessed the events in question. Direct evidence can be eyewitness testimony. Eyewitnesses heard someone say certain things, videotape, pictures, and other evidence that took place. So, yeah. Let's keep going. Okay. So according to Google, forensics can include DNA, fingerprints, And circumstantial, they'll sometimes overlap as more forensic findings require inferences to link a suspect to a crime, unlike direct evidence or eyewitness confession. While forensic data provides scientific objective facts, it remains circumstantial if it only suggests guilt rather than proving it. But forensic evidence is better. Okay, so the definition of forensic evidence is physical evidence analyzed by experts such as DNA, fingerprints, ballistics, toxicology reports. It also scientifically establishes facts like this gun fired this bullet or the defendant's blood was at the scene. It's generally considered a form of circumstantial evidence because it often requires an inference to connect the defendant to the crime. So forensic cases rely on scientific physical proof, whereas circumstantial is more like a web of evidence like geofencing and stuff like that, that it points to the logical conclusion that this person did it, right? Okay, so let's keep going. I just wanted to tell you what good news this is. Okay, so according to leaked details from the grand jury proceedings, the case against David Anthony Burke has shifted from circumstantial to forensics. This is my sourcing on this is AOL. Witnesses, including Rob Morgenroth, a member of David's management team, were reportedly grilled about David's movements in August of 2025. While Morgenroth insisted in his testimony that managing Burke's personal life, quote, wasn't his responsibility, prosecutors allege that Burke and an accomplice, that's David and an accomplice, disassembled, I'm paraphrasing here, Celeste before hiding her remains in the front trunk of his Tesla. So get this. Police told people this wasn't a panic move. This was a calculated disposal. The source alleges that Celeste, who had been missing from Lake Elsinore since April of 2024, was done away with in a rental property in the Hollywood Hills. There it is. So the Doheny property is where the police believe she was done away with, which is why they probably didn't. This is good news for Steve Fisher's client, the mansion owner, if this turns out to be correct reporting. Remember, reporters can only take the sources that they have and share that information with the pieces of the puzzle. I'm putting this out there with credible sourcing, but I can't vouch for this personally. But yeah, so she was done away with at the rental property. Now, of course, this rental property could be also the mansion, because that's in the Hollywood Hills too. So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's not the Doheny property. If you think it's the mansion, put mansion. If you think it's the Doheny property, put Doheny property. What are they talking about when they say rental property in the Hollywood Hills before being moved to the Tesla? Okay, but let's keep going. So I don't know. The most chilling detail linking David, the star, they're calling him, to the victim is etched on their skin. And this is so common in that Discord group that we've been talking about with the numbers 4 and the number 6 and the number 7 in it, that they will, have the person basically, kind of like an ownership type of thing. Forensic examiners, so forensic again, there's that word again, previously confirmed. So they say that David has links etched into the skin. Well, we know she had his name tattooed on her finger, if that is her hand with the engagement ring on, right? And then we know that she and David had matching Shhh tattoos. So they confirmed that Rivas had a tattoo on her index finger reading Shhh. Internet sleuths quickly pointed out that David had an identical tattoo on his right finger. It is visible in multiple music videos and Instagram posts. I have showed you guys these before. When David's legal team had dismissed the matching ink as a coincidence, prosecutors are reportedly using it to establish a prior relationship between the 20-year-old. They say she's 15. She was not. She would have been 15. She was 14 when she was done away with. Celeste's mom also claimed her daughter was seeing a boyfriend named David before she had vanished. The indictment would mark a catastrophic fall for one of Gen Z's most promising talents. I don't think he really was as talented. That's just my opinion. I think he maybe could write music, but I heard his voice without a voice tuner, and I don't think his voice was good. I don't know why they chose to represent him. Maybe his voice sounded bad that day because he was just having a bad day too. David shot to fame with tracks like Here With Me on his iPhone in his sister's closet, had just wrapped his Withered World Tour when this, well, he hadn't wrapped it. He had to end it when the scandal broke. Since the discovery of Celeste in September, his label, Darkroom Interscope, has effectively frozen his career. If the grand jury votes to indict as expected, yay, David will be taken into custody immediately because grand jury proceedings are secret and the exact charges will not be public until his arraignment. Okay, so let's make a note on that. So if they find him guilty, he'll be taken into custody, but the charges, we won't know what they are until he's arraigned. So I don't know what we're going to be able to find out.